clicks and clacks, building blocks, let's begin. Stacks on stacks, with beards we always win. In a world of plastic, our minds spin. Brick by brick, where do we dive in? Brickin' with the beard, we never stop. Talking pieces, colors going over the top. Custom sets, landscapes, got a shop. Tunes drop, make the hobby pop. From vintage sets to modern themes, minifig dreams with studs and seams. Castle walls, spaceship beams. Listen close, hear the gear screams. Connecting fans, yo, that's the plan. Building bonds piece by piece, man. Every episode more than just sand. Confidence grand, bricks in hand.
What is up? What is up? How is everybody doing? What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Good, man. How about you?
Another day, another day. I laid out all these bags and forgot that I didn't even get the instruction booklet up here. So I was about to just start randomly building on whatever. But
Isn't that what you usually do?
usually, I just put pieces wherever they connect. I don't give a crap. But how's everybody doing tonight? We already got a bunch of people in the house. Mr. Papa Brix. We got Rob Cook of Claxton, the Cajun AFAL, General Tron, Andrew, and RTW Films. So I want to give a quick shout out. I showed this to Caden. Papa Trips came and seen me today and brought me something that has to be one of my favorite things I've gotten from somebody.
Oh, that is so cool.
This clone trooper actually hits all of his targets. It doesn't, miss with the blaster. It's
Well, that's a stormtrooper, not a clone trooper. So
well, it's clone trooper, stormtrooper. They both shoot a lot and don't hit anything.
that's all right.
I had so many people at work was like, "You're gonna leave this at work. You're gonna leave this at work," and I was like, "I'm not leaving it at work. It will actually go on the shelf behind me.
There you go.
As soon as I clean somewhere off right here."
So did he 3D print the whole thing?
No, he actually melted the plastic together and hand formed it. He contacted
Are the lines 3D printed in black, or are they printed on it in ink?
They're printed on with a 3D printer.
That's pretty sweet.
He contacted Lego and made Lego make me one.
There you go.
But how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
What do
Another
y'all?
rinse repeat.
I say we made tonight's topic a little close to home because Caden has to be packed in the car in 24 hours.
No, I actually just finished packing my suitcase about 20 minutes before we got on.
How long is the car ride to the airport?
Like 10 minutes.
Oh, not too far.
Yeah, no, I live super close to the airport.
Tron Brick says it's the bearded trooper.
Damn right.
That is right.
And I have I don't know if I get bonus points yet for this or not, but I do have the Goonies downloaded on my phone to watch on the flight.
Man, that's some bonus points right there. That's some. Now I will say you can't. So this is what we'll have to do.
Oh boy!
You can't tell me how you feel about that film until you come back and tell George at the same time.
I mean, I'm gonna be practically living with George all weekend. So
yeah, but then I won't get to see it. So
see his reaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because next week you'll be doing your meeting, right?
Honestly, I have no idea. I can look.
Next week, if you're not doing the meeting, we need to have you and George back on to recap World War Brick.
And then just talk about the Goonies?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can check the lug calendar and see when the meeting is. If it's not next week, I'll come on.
Sweet. Andrew said, I apologize for displaying at Brick Universe for Kalamazoo, or I applied. I thought he said he apologized. I was like, why are you apologizing?
I'm like reading that like that. Nope.
Reading is fundamental.
Reading is hard.
Tron said, excellent. I survived the itch factor for a 2-week heart monitor.
Nice.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I don't wish that it was wrong with you. Rob said getting the last little bit packed for Brickworld Chicago for my flight next Wednesday for Brickworld Chicago. Man, I'm kind of glad I'm not going to Brickworld.
Yeah.
I've been talking to some people, and I'm gonna stand my ground and say that I'm pretty Brick Fair tried and true. It's better than Brick World. I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, as someone who has been to both, I'm stand with you in that endeavor.
Every time somebody talks about Brick Fair,
Yeah.
they talk about cool builds they've seen. Every time somebody talks about Brick World, they talk about somebody they've met.
Right.
And you can see the cool builds on Instagram.
You can see the cool builds on this channel every Wednesday.
That is true.
Because I do have quite a few tonight. I got one that George wanted me to show.
Yeah, hopefully when we get back from World War Brick. Well, granted, if I come on next week, I'll save them. But whatever the next week I'm not on, I'll have 2 vignettes for you.
Well, he's I know George is taking some pictures at the show to bring for next week.
Okay.
Tyler
Well, I'll have like good pictures of my like light box camera pictures of my vignettes.
Are you shaming George right now?
I'm not shaming George, but
Yeah,
based off of some of the video stuff that came out of World War Brick last year, the lighting in that building is awful. And so like the impending like shadow and everything when you're taking pictures of stuff is like it's so bad.
I seen a lot of things about World War Brick last year, and the one thing that people keep showing me, and I've seen like 20 times, is George doing the like introduction thing, the ceremony thing. George was even like, dude, if you come this year, I'll make sure they make you do it. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's not a reason to make me come at all, actually.
Yeah, it's probably the opposite, the way to keep me from going.
I'll show up the day after.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think he ended up doing it last year, like last minute, because Dylan wasn't going to get to be there.
George just said it sounds like you're shaming him.
He'll get over it.
Andrew said that at Brickworld Chicago, people steal from other people's builds. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah.
There's stupid people suck, and that's just easy to say. I mean, I watched a kid last year at Brick Fair, and I know that there was a bunch of stuff saying about people stealing stuff at Brick Fair last year or whatever, but I watched a kid last year who was kind of younger. His mom had bought him a Clone Army Customs character. He dropped it. The gun went who knows where. And I watched like 6 adults on their hands and knees trying to find this kid's gun. I'm not saying that stuff like that doesn't happen at Brick World, but it's pretty cool to see people that are still like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had, I mean, granted, I didn't really like, well, I mean, I hung out quite a bit at Brick World last year, but at Brick Fair this past year, I think it was this past year, on Saturday, on one of the public days, I had to stop these 2 kids. And they were kids, I mean, they were probably like 14, maybe somewhere around there, that somebody saw them take a set off of Brickmania's table. That person came and told me, and then I went and stopped the kids. We made them put them back. I alerted Todd, and Todd's brother's the one who runs like quote unquote security for Brick Fair. And so we kind of all had our heads on a swivel, and one of the other theme leaders like saw him like, being kind of weird. So we went and grabbed him and took him up front, and Todd's brother just put a like will not return stamp and just kicked him out.
I mean, that's a good thing.
It's like I've never had to do that before.
Fact, just because George isn't here to do it, when you said little kid at 14.
Okay. you know what I meant.
Well, no, I'm just gonna say like that's crazy to think that you're a little kid. I mean, that's crazy.
Not little kid, but young, stupid. I don't fit that parameter anymore, so it's fine.
Andrew said
the young or the stupid?
Andrew Casting said, I need to save money for the Lego store to get the vending machine and hit the wall. The one in Concord Mills this week had nothing whatsoever on the wall, and I'm sorry, but that vending machine is a waste of money, in my opinion.
See, I've seen a lot of people posting the opposite sentiment. I'm not a fan of it either.
Oh, dude, it was like selling at the store. Like opening day, people were getting, like, everyone had one.
Yeah.
Andrew said that the big pyramid, he did the big pyramid with the train at World War Brick last year.
Okay, I do remember that. Yep.
And we got Hoarder 66 says, what is up? Trevor says, what is up, y'all? And Hoarder says, if you touch something that isn't yours, you should be banned.
Facts.
And George said, I'll be back next week on vacation, working in the hayfield this week, and then getting ready for World War Brick in the morning.
Oh, they're heading up there tomorrow. That's crazy.
Well, you know, he's got to get his speech prepared.
Yeah.
But no, like, that is very true. Like, if, like, obviously, I would like to think the people in here aren't the type of people that would go grab something off someone's table.
For
but
sure.
like, also, if you see something happening, don't not say something.
Yeah.
Last year, at Brick Fair, there was a guy who had a like a medieval village build, and he had a goat at the very end of the table, like where somebody could just walk by and easily snag it.
Yeah.
And Haley asked him. Haley was like, "You know that's like, you know, a crazy amount of money." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And he had no idea. So Haley actually like told him about it, and he ended up taking it and putting it back closer to the edge of the table where he was at.
Sure.
And I think by the end of the day, he actually took it off and put it with his like stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I mean, and like, it doesn't happen often, and it hasn't ever happened to me personally, but I think this year with the vignettes, I don't think I'm going to put figures on them until Saturday morning. Just because, I mean, like, and I mean, you know, just the same, like, the amount of money in the figures I have across those vignettes, I mean, it's probably upwards of 1,000, if not more.
Well, see, that's one of the things that always sucks is like, how do you, I mean, especially when you have something that has that many,
Yeah.
like, how do you combat that? Like, I mean, it just,
Well, so like Hacksaw, I'll put the figures on. I've never had any issues with people stealing the figures from that because it's the Lego ones. People want, you know, the custom ones they can sell online for $1 billion.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Every single character or every minifig I have is all.
Yeah. I mean, there is also a world, like, I know, because like Eric and Gunnar last year, they had a figure or two walk off. You know, and like, and it sucks too because most of the actual military community, and what I mean by that, like, I don't count the clan of teenage like brick arm modder people, because all they ever do is take up space and make a mess. But like, the actual people who are there to display are some of like the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah. Well, it's
and-
never us. It's always like.
Yeah, it's always like the outside, like whatever. And I honestly, I don't think I've ever had anything walk off during public hours. It's always somebody
Always
trying to
private
do
time.
something during the private hours. Yeah, like whether, and it's not even Adult Swim either. It's like, you know, just 1 a.m. when everybody else is gone, somebody walks by and just, you know, snags it out. But like, people were stealing like badges last year. People were stealing like the little gooey juck like trophies that people put out. There were quite a number of issues at Brick Fair last year, but I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, you can't ever really combat it.
No, I mean, there's always going to be stupidity.
Yeah. But because Todd was even saying, like, you know, when it came to people doing stupid stuff, like, you know, to reinstitute the age restriction, but the problem is the age restriction is 13, and it's like the kids who are like 14, 15 who think it's cool, they're the ones doing it anyway. It's not, you know, 9-year-olds walking around stealing people's stuff.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but like the badge rule this year.
To catch back up with the chat, Will said Lego costs too much for some snot-nosed kid to just come along and knock a mock off the table and pocket a Queen Amidala in the process.
True.
And that is very true. Mr. David Kraus says, hey, I'm late. Hoarder said might sound oddly specific, but I heard that happen a few weeks back. I'll pause right there. I actually heard a story that we didn't know about. A guy was telling me and Haley at one of the conventions we went to this year. He owned a store that was there selling minifigs, and he said that he had a problem with people that would come up with hoodies or long sleeve shirts on, would pick a fig up and look at it and drop it into the sleeve of the hoodie and act like they put it back. Andrew said at Brix Slopes, Denver, I think someone stole his mock card and had to get another one printed. Rob said that there was a small fire on the outside of the old Sears in the Haywood Mall in Greenville, South Carolina. One of the other SC Bricklugs members told him. And George said, "Gene, what are you working on tonight?" He came in late.
Working on Tranquil Garden.
Trevor said last year at Brick Fair, a Cloud City Boba Fett apparently went missing during the yard sale, along with several other high dollar figs. And I remember that the guy said his whole case got stole.
Yeah.
Will said, "Sucks that it only takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch. Most of us can be trusted around someone else's expensive collection and take care of it, but that one person who steals ruins it all."
Yep.
Tron said, "I was worried about the public, but damn, after hours, that's low sick stuff right there."
Yeah, after hours is a different breed of idiots.
We got Chef in the house saying, "What is up? Hello, Brick people. What's going on, Chef? How you been?" The problem with the after hours people, or like, this is going to sound like a very like, okay, we all knew that type thing. But the other thing that people got to realize is when it comes to outside people, 9 times out of 10, they don't know what some of this stuff is worth.
Yeah.
It's the people who are there displaying and the people that are there with the tickets. One of the things at Brick Fair that is really odd, I've always thought, is the fact that they do like the late night swim where everybody drinks.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but it always, in my opinion, has had it to where something stupid can happen.
See, I don't mind it either. Yeah, the issue has become that they do like an initial round of carding, and then they don't card anyone after that. Like last year, I was in there. Granted, I'm over 21. I was allowed to be in there.
Are you really?
Yeah. And there were people who I knew were not 21 who were in there. And I was like, how did you guys even get in here? They're like, "Oh, we just walked through the door." And we're like, wow, like that, because that
what
is
they need to do, honestly. Time. And I don't know if he would ever do this, but the easiest thing to do would be to get everybody out of the building.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come back in, you are carded as you're walking through the door.
Yep. That's what he was talking about last year, because they were he even brought it up at closing ceremonies. He was like, we had issues this year with these underage kids trying to get in. And because the problem is, it's like, yeah, you're trying to be cool, sneak in, get a drink, whatever. But if something happens, right, it's not just on Brick Fair, it's on the deck legally.
Yeah.
Which also then causes issues with Brick Fair. Like if we had an issue with somebody like underage drinking, then that would reflect legally on the deck, would reflect negatively on Brick Fair, and we probably wouldn't be able to hold Brick Fair there anymore.
Yeah.
So, obviously in the moment, these stupid 18, 19-year-olds aren't thinking about that. But like, they're one dumb decision away from literally ruining it for everybody. And honestly, I think that's probably the better way to go. I think
we should be able to fight those people.
Yeah. Like, I realistically, I think that's what he should do. Literally kick everyone out, card them at the door if you want to come back in. And then, like, after the line is gone, like, you lock the doors and you put somebody there, and that person is carding every single person who comes in.
Yeah.
And I forgot my hoodie, I'll just be a second. Like, no, you can get it in the morning.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing. It's like, I forgot my badge. I got to grab it so I can get in the morning. And they're like, oh, yeah, go ahead. And then they stay. And they don't get carded because they're supposed to get carded at the door. So, yeah. So it's a whole thing.
What is up, Dan? And Chef says He's doing good. I've been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's been extremely busy at work, but I know that it's been that way for everybody, so can't really say much to that. But as
It's
long
been
as
busy
you,
enough at work that I said screw it and took a vacation day today.
well, it's getting to the point where I was just telling Caden before we went live that I may have to take a vacation day just to work on this mock to be able to get it done. I'm at that point where I do not think that I mean, will I be ready for Brick Fair? Yes. Will I be ready for Brick Universe? That's the one I'm not sure about.
You should just finish it already.
I
Just
should.
hurry up. Yeah.
Should, yeah.
Well,
See,
we had a big family weekend and got behind in the store. Tori told me what she was going to work on today. I was like, if you're doing that, I'm taking a vacation day and helping.
Yeah, I need a vacation like 6 months so I can come down here and actually finish sorting out all my childhood collection.
that's what me and Caden were talking about how I need to once I get this build, it's staying in the boxes for a while so I can finish cleaning up and everything down here and getting everything straight, organized, figuring out what I'm going to do for putting all this stuff up and go.
Yeah. Yeah, I unfortunately won't have that time frame luxury because I'll go from Hacksaw at Chantilly to vignettes for the Marine Corps Museum, taking Hacksaw back out to Erie at the end of September. And then as soon as that comes home, I got to start working on stuff for Atlanta. I got to start working on my big build for next year and then my big collab for next year, while also tearing down Hacksaw.
The Star Wars mock won't be that big, and it doesn't require the same pieces that I've used for the Bulge.
Well, our collab will not require the same parts, but my big build will use most of the same parts or the same style of kind of parts.
Dan, you're not going to be able to make it to Brick Universe? David said it's the start of his busy summer. It will slow down sometime around September. And Andrew said, did you say Erie? That's my area.
Yeah, Erie, PA. At the end of September, the Erie Comic-Con has a Lego event attached to it for the 4th or 5th year this year, called Brick Erie. I was there last year. I'll be up there again this year. It's a fun show. It's different, but it's the same. It's the same but different. You thought Lego people were weird, but then you show up to a Comic-Con. It's a whole other level.
Did you, speaking of like custom figs and everything else, did you pick up Lando's new figs?
Of course. Actually, I had a whole. I kind of got confused because I saw his like leaks in the Discord of what he was posting. I saw the Marines and the PMC, and the PMCs I don't get because I won't use them.
Yeah.
And so I'm at work on Saturday,
and he just released the PMC,
and all I saw on his post was the PMC, and I was like, but before he posted it, I had messaged him and I was like, hey, like, do you have a like shipping option where I could just pick them up at World War Brick instead of having you ship them to me? And he was like, well, I don't really have that as an option on the site, but, do this, and this, and I'll, do whatever.
Yeah.
And so then I go and online and I see his post and it's only the PMC. I was like, wow, I didn't want to work this out to then just not put in an order. So then I went to the website and then the Marines were on there. And then he posted that one like 12 hours later. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're good. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by how much I like the tanker. I wasn't sure about it when he posted the original picture, but looking at it,
I bought extra helmets
of the tanker helmets.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I don't usually ever get anything extra. Usually he'll send me like an extra of something related to the drop.
Andrew said Erie's a weird city.
Erie is a weird city.
And David said he's in PA too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, come on out. It's a good time. I don't know if registration, the way it's been run the last couple of years is mostly through like lugs that are attending. But honestly, if you have any interest even in displaying, shoot me a message on Instagram and I can, or wherever, and I can pass it along to the coordinators.
I need to get out to another, like, maybe not display, but just go to another show. The one thing I will say that I will promise everybody that I'm going to do next year that I did not do this year, I don't know if I'll be taking a build or not because I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I may just kind of go to try to like hang out with a bunch of people, but I will be going to Atlanta.
Okay, well, I'll see you there. I'm going to Atlanta for the first time next year too, so
we should collab a vignette to make it a little bigger. Or do you already have something planned?
So the plan for any shows that I'm planning to fly to is to do vignettes. But honestly, like if you and I want to pick, a battle or a movie or a something, and then do a bunch of like vignettes of scenes and then set them all up together, I'd be down for something like that.
I'm down using you got to think, as long as it's, which I know it will be with you, as long as it's World War II, I've got a list of vehicles from Panzer.
Okay.
I've got I'm sure we have something. Panzer's D-Day drops this week.
Yeah.
And I'll be getting those. The Churchill that's dropping, I'm going to use in the mock that's coming after Bastogne.
Caden, you got to remember, a vignette to Richard means it's only 6 base plates by 8 base plates.
No,
him and I think alike.
I'm looking so forward to building something small. You have no idea.
Yeah,
I've been challenged by a lot of people, and I was challenged by Lando a little bit in this one, but it was a little too late. The next build after this will probably be one of the best things I've ever done, and it will not be built in a square. It will be there's a lot more thought going into it. There's a lot more I'm going to say easiness to it because it has reference pictures. I am not having to guess because I'm so tired of people telling me, they're like, well, yeah, but Bastogne had a lot of pictures taken. No, it didn't. I don't care what you say. I literally have books about this, and the books show the same 6 images you find online. I have an entire book down here dedicated to Battle of the Bulge. You know what? All the pictures in there are up close pictures of some type of soldiers sitting in a foxhole.
Exactly.
It's a tree with a couple snowballs around it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's one of the biggest things, and I think I've brought it up in like 3 different interviews now. That Pacific War, and I found it more with Okinawa than I did with Peleliu, is that like finding reference material that gives me any wide spectacle of what I'm trying to do is just non-existent. Like when I did the landings, the only picture I could find of the Higuchi beaches was like D-Day +4. And so there's LSTs everywhere. There's LCHs everywhere. There's like a city's worth of infrastructure on the beach. So like I couldn't actually see the beach or any of the vegetation that was there or the surf levels, anything.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's plenty of pictures, but the pictures aren't of anything useful. They're like of guys hanging out. Like they were taking pictures of each other. They weren't taking pictures of buildings and
right.
Like I sent the picture to Caden, and I was like, maybe I should do this as a vignette. I need to send it to Gene. It's literally like in the Pacific, there is a Sherman tank that is parked at like an incline, and they dug out the entire hole underneath the tracks, and it's just 4 Marine heads sticking out from underneath this tank smiling.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Like I think Mount Yaitake, I didn't have a single like physical image that I could use. I had a 2D hand-drawn topographical map from the time of the like battle plan from the US side, like the lines, like the post-battle like defense lines, dates, that thing. I didn't have anything else. And so like I literally was just kind of throwing up a shot in the dark with what I could find like research wise online. And even then, everything I was finding was like contradicting. Like some were like, okay, yes, there were tanks. Some said there weren't tanks. Some said it was like super bogged down, swampy. Some said it was just really muddy. Like some said there were cave openings, towards the base. Some said there weren't. Like I could not find a one true answer to anything.
Well, I even read the book, The Longest Winter.
Yeah.
And like halfway through the book, I realized I was like, I'm getting no information about any of this other than it was cold. They were unprepared.
Yeah.
Everyone was young.
There was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've got a lot of books, and some of them are really good, and some of them are like, they're all really good, but they vary in their helpfulness when it comes to reference.
I had a lot of comments, and I keep getting them every once in a while. Somebody will send a comment. They're like, "Well, this wasn't like this. This wasn't like this."
Yeah.
Somebody told me the other day. I've had two recently that stuck out. They were like, "Well, the town of Bastogne had a lot more snow on it. It didn't." I've got reference photos. I'm going to let you know right now. The roofs had it.
Sure, yeah.
But everything on the ground wasn't. There was no, and I don't know what it's made out of or what the dirt over there is. But apparently when you mix whatever dirt they have with the water from the snow, it just concretes. Because like I have pictures of like tanks going through the streets and there's not a single track.
They're just on a road.
Dirt.
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing that every time you post something. I'm just gonna start like nitpicking the tiniest things.
The one I had yesterday was somebody commented and was like, "A town through war would be more destroyed than this." I'm like, they aren't dropping nukes.
Yeah. They didn't fly a bunch of B-26s over it and just level the whole thing.
They were literally shooting cannonballs, pretty much. Like it's just they weren't even explosives. It was just hitting things and taking out like windows and walls.
Yeah. Well, I've been over the course of the last couple of days, I've been rewatching Band of Brothers, just cause, and like I was watching the episode tonight when they're in Holland for Market Garden.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Martin gets up on the Sherman with the British tank commander, and he's like, "There's a Kraut tank right there." And he's like, "I don't see him." I was like, "Yeah, he's through the
point.
Through the building." He's like, I know, no unnecessary destruction of property. And he's like, if I can't see the bugger, I can't bloody well shoot him, can I? I'm like, you know what? Fair point. But then, the tank rolls out and they start shooting bazookas through the buildings. It's like all of this would have been avoided. I'll just shoot through the building.
I love that scene wherever they pull up in the freaking Tiger or the Panzer is sitting in it with the camouflage just like draped over it.
Yep. Yeah, then he pulls out. The dude's like, "Forward, go!" And he just like absolutely just destroys the Sherman tanks.
Did you see Panzer Brick Labs is in?
Yeah, he said, "What's going on, guys?" And he was talking about that's awesome. He's looking forward to see what you have cooking, and he said he'll hit you up when he does the Pacific stuff.
Oh yeah, he knows.
We got I've got a bunch of things cooking. I just I know what I need to do. I need not to be able to work and just build all the time, and it will make my life a lot easier.
Just need to like monetize everything. I'm just like,
monetization isn't what you think it is.
Oh no, I'm well aware, which is why I still have a day job and didn't like accumulate to this full time. But
now, if we were on here doing something dumb to each other, like making each other eat Lego pieces, we'd be millionaires.
Exactly. Maybe we just need to start like a brick, like Bearded Bricks Beyond Reality channel, and just like start doing stupid stuff.
Well, I was talking to George about this, and with everybody in the chat, let me know. So I know that when it comes to everybody's builds, they're not for everybody. Some people like things done differently.
Yeah.
But I have been asked recently by like 6 or 7 people they'll say, hey, how did you do this in your building? How did you do this in your building? Or how did you build the walls? How is the door made? How is the window held up? And I told George that when it comes to like rebrickable, I know that it's one of the things that can be controlled. Rebrickable does take a cut out of people's stuff, and that's not the reason I want to do it.
Yeah.
But I think what I might do, since 90% of the stuff I build is done in studio to begin with,
Sure.
is I might create a Brickin with the Beard Patreon.
And put like instructions on it.
Because you can create levels, and whatever the top level is, you just have full access. Because I have the entire castle built. The entire castle is built in studio. Now,
yeah, you're insane.
Now, if you were to do this and you were to like buy that castle and you were to download it and you try to open it up in studio and your computer starts smoking,
it's gonna crash your computer.
It's not my problem. There's like 200,000 pieces in that.
Yeah, you'd need a NASA supercomputer to open that file.
My computer, if I open it, it starts running slow immediately.
Yeah, I'm sure. I started designing a build that shall remain nameless in studio like 4 or 5 years ago, and I would get it like to a certain size, and then I would add a section, and then it like my computer just could not handle it anymore. It would crash, or it would just like start glitching out. And we're like, all right, well,
if you make it like if you circle something and make it a like bundle it together, I forgot what it's called off the top of my head.
Grouping.
Group it. If you do that, it works a little better. The only thing that I hate about that is I have a tendency to group something together. I'll go and build something and immediately be like, man, I can change this on that group and make it a little bigger. So I'll edit the group. And then I'll go back and like, I'm like, well, I forgot to group it back together beforehand. So then like I select it all and group it again. And like, it just becomes a mess.
Yeah. I just started doing it in like sections. Cause like, I don't use studio often. Like a lot of times it's like a very specific thing. And I will design it either entirely as like a prototype or like with Mount Yay or not with Mount Yay with Bloody Nose Ridge. Like I did a 16 by 16 section of rock work just to like play with the idea based on the parts I was going to use, and then just translated that to like actual brick and then just did it by hand. Because I've always found it easier to build physically than digitally.
It's definitely easier to build, but it all depends on what you're doing. Like landscaping, 100%.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've had so many people like, you know, how did you come up with, like a guy asked me yesterday, how did I come up with the castle wall ideas? I literally threw a bunch of parts in a tote, and as I was building, I just reached in and grabbed. It did not matter what it was because I wanted it to be random. Yeah. Anytime you're doing landscape, that's like the only way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you had seen, I'll send you a picture when we get off here tonight, but if you saw the current state of the landscape on the back of Hacksaw and you turned around and tried to do that in studio, I would probably throw my computer before my computer crashed trying to do that in studio.
Well, and like I said, it's not for everything. What studio really does help with is like with the castle. The main reason I wanted to do it with the castle is I needed to know, which, and this goes with our theme tonight, what went where and how to make it like portable.
Sure.
Like I needed it to be modular. And I was like, well, if I build this on a 16 by 16, how high can I go before it becomes a problem? And then, you know, where does this need to sit to break apart? So that's what it really worked for with me.
I did use Studio to help design the Technic substructure frames that are holding up Hacksaw. I put down enough plates to mark out a 48 by 48 base plate, built the frame, multiplied that up by how many base plates I had. Usually it's just as a course of like trying to order specific quantities of parts. I'll do it digitally so I can just upload the parts list, buy it, and then once I get the parts physically, just copy and paste it and then set it up.
So one of the other really cool things that you could do that I've done, I can show you how. I have not even showed Panzer this yet, but what I'm doing next to the build, I have a overview of the entire town. What I did was took it and pretty much made it to a certain scale of what a minifigure would look at, and then I I made it basically a sticker and laid it over base plates to figure out how many I needed to use, where I needed stuff at, and what I can, you don't need a whole entire 2 base plates full of just blank landscape if that's all it is. Like, delete one of them out of there. It's not no one's gonna be like, oh my God, I'm glad you put this extra 32 by 32 of dirt in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you got to start thinking about what else can you put on it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I'm building off of 100%. Like, it is it's an already designed thing. So I don't need what else can you put on it? Like, my design is pretty much done. I'm just copying a town and making it into Lego.
I think it's a good idea to do the Patreon thing.
Like I said, it's
so do free memberships. Do free memberships so people get in there and can see snippets, and then paid memberships to be able to download stuff.
Well, it might be in the near future. Trust me.
Yeah.
And the other thing to think about is maybe put some of the pieces, some of the components that people might use on theirs. Like if you have a good tree design, put that on Rebrickable and sell it there.
Well, most of the stuff that I have when it comes to trees, and I'm not even going to lie, are other people's designs that I've copied and changed stuff of.
I mean, that's all of Lego. Like, if we're all on, like, at some point somewhere, someone has done the same thing, whether you know it or not.
I am horrible with trees.
Yeah, I've gotten better with trees, but this castle project's going to be the real test. I have the one that I've showed on here before. I got to build probably about 10 more.
George said there's 16 in the chat and 10 likes. Tisk tisk. And Tron said, I just got my laptop replaced with a better one because the initial mountain build was making it overheat and it was slow to pan around. So my newer, better laptop is handling for better. Yeah, Mike, when I was doing the castle, if I worked on like a section, it was fine. But the minute I tried to zoom out, the computer was like, nah.
Or you hit the space and try to spin it, and it's just like,
yeah, it's like, no, we're not doing that. I hope you like this view.
Yeah.
I did it as a joke one time. This is no lie. I pulled up Studio. The castle was built, and I highlighted the entire build and tried to put it into a wanted list in Studio because I knew that my build was more than that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do the studio portion of like the river around it, the moat, all of the everything else. It was just the castle. And I was like, this will give me a good, starting point when somebody asks, hey, how many pieces is it? And the minute that I clicked like add to wanted list, the computer started spinning. And like I waited. And then like 3 minutes into it, I just shut the computer down. I was like, I won't try that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an issue with that. But
we got renderings at work. When we do 3D models of some of our buildings, we've got renderings at work that run on a server farm and still take like 11 hours to render.
When I was rendering the photo, when I did the late night streams with everybody, when I was doing the Red Rocket build, it would take me almost 24 hours to render one of those photos.
That's crazy.
But I just have a laptop. For something like that, I would definitely need like a desktop.
For sure.
George says there's 16 in the chat and 10 likes. Tisk tisk. That's true. Y'all need to get them numbers up. Tron says it takes a minimum basic gaming computer just to handle studio builds of any large nature.
Yeah.
And Hanser said that you could do a tech analysis perhaps sometime. When people ask me how I do things, I isolate the technique and showcase that and applications where I've used them to the varying effect. That's pretty much what I want to do, because a lot of people, there was a video I did. Well, there's like, I started as a series, and it was like how I design a mock, what I did with like landscape and stuff like that. and the landscape video has gotten more views than I think any other video I've ever done. But the bad thing is like, and I know that you know this, and Caden's like the perfect person to it. There is no real wrong way to do landscaping.
Yeah.
Like there's not. It's
No, but
mean,
the thing I missed was when you were doing the series of how to build certain things, and the Fallout mock was part of it. I thought it was a pretty good concept to, weekly watch Richard build and talk about how he builds.
well, see, and that's one of the things we talked about. Like if it's done through Patreon, I can. How do I word this? If it's done through Patreon, I can't do a YouTube video for members only and show like a live stream of how I was doing it and how I'm going about it. The only way I could do it is to create a video. But the problem with that video is if you still have to become a member to watch it through YouTube. So it would have to be something that I record through this and upload to the website.
Yeah.
So it's the combatant of, do I just try to do it on here or do I try to create a Patreon? Because the only thing that I can't really do on here is upload the instructions.
Yeah, I mean, unless you do what what's the old channel, like Brian Fitzsimmons or something like that, where he had like LDD World War II vehicle step-by-step instruction videos. Do you remember those? You ever around for that?
Well, see, the one thing I want to kind of stay away from though is I don't want to do vehicle videos. I don't want to do like that type of stuff a lot, just because 9 times out of 10 that if I've got a vehicle,
it's not yours.
It's more than likely somebody's that I've altered a little bit. Like it's not mine. I've came up with a design of like a couple different things.
Yeah.
But it started out like for instance, when I was doing the Panzer I have, the bottom half of it was a Brickmania design. The rest of it, I just kind of was like, okay, this slope needs to go here. It needs to angle at this. And it came out great. But it's not something that I sat down and was like, okay, this is going to be mine from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so like my Shermans currently are modified old Brickmania Shermans based on a picture I found on Flickr like 15 billion years ago.
You need to go to that 1/45th scale.
Well, at some point in the next year or so, I'm going to redesign my Shermans, but my Amtraks are mine. I designed those, and I like those. They're definitely smaller. I don't know what scale they are, but they're definitely smaller. And they definitely fit everything else pretty nicely. And I'm happy with it. Like my Sherman could definitely use some work, and I haven't really touched it in, oh boy, I've probably been using those Shermans since I did the first part of the airfield, so 2018. So what is that, 7 years ago? And I've been using the same Shermans ever since. They're not pretty, but they're what they need to be.
Well, if they're not pretty, I wouldn't want to use them.
I mean, that's fair.
But I only build things that are pretty.
Yeah. I mean, this build doesn't have any tanks on it, so this build will be pretty.
Well, that's missing a key vital portion of what it needs to be.
What, pretty?
Yeah, you need to have a vehicle on it.
I wanted to put a Jeep down at the bottom where the aid station is, but I don't know if I'll get around to doing that or not. Because the one like Jeep design I have is way big compared to what the rest of the build is like scaled at. So I might mess around with building the smaller Jeep, but we'll see how much. I need to actually finish the build first, and then I'll worry about that. Because I have.
It's K today said, hello, everyone just got back from a trip. And Trevor said he has to make up for himself not being pretty.
Fair. Yeah.
Well, that's a task, isn't it?
That's fair. That is a task. Yeah, I think I have like either 28 or 30 landscape sections left.
Caden, just remember, you're beautiful in my book.
I try.
I wish I knew, like, if I knew only how many sections I had left, I think it'd be easier.
I mean, it doesn't help the fact that you just chose to restart.
It doesn't.
So that's
But
your
it
fault.
looks, technically, one of the reasons why I chose to restart was because of you.
Hey, nothing that I said ever came across like, oh my God, that's terrible. You should restart. You took it like that, and then you decided to restart. That is not my fault.
So Richard calls me and says, "What do you think Caden's trying to say with this?" I'm like, "Dude, he's telling you suck."
Yeah, those were my words exactly.
That's exactly how it sounded to me.
Apparently. Yeah. No, he
It's like the backhanded compliment. He was like, well, if I would have done it, I would have done it that
way. If it were me,
I would have probably built it better. But
back before I had experience, that's kind of how I did it.
Yeah.
Like before you were born, I was,
I'm really happy with it now. The only thing I wish is like I used a lot of tiles just because I was talking about like how in the pictures it's smooth and deep down that kind of gets to me. But in the end, like as long as it's all like
it's smooth because you gotta think about like how like landscape in real life works. Like technically on some scale, every bit of landscape is smooth.
Yeah.
So, like obviously if you made the whole thing tiles, it would look weird and unrealistic. Whereas if you made the whole thing studs, which like people do that.
I hate when people do that, by the way.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I hate it, but I think it depends on what it is. Like if they did a like because it's what's weird? I think it's always Omaha beach scenes. That's like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of like all stud landscape, and it's just
the beach should be one of the smoothest things.
Exactly.
Like the sand is literally smooth when it's untouched.
Yeah. Well, but the point being Omaha Beach, none of the sand was untouched.
No.
But like that the entire base is literally all just tan plates. Not a tile in sight. But they'll tile off the shoreline. That'll be all dark tan tiles. And then the whole beach is just bright tan, all studs. Yeah, I mean this is a fair mix of both. For sure. I mean there's definitely a lot of studs. But then again, like I've practiced like this style of landscape so much, especially towards the back. I've done a lot more like work with elevation. And there's definitely a lot more studs than tiles. But like putting in 1x1 tiles instead of a 1x1 plate just to break it up, or like slopes, where you get like the smooth plane, that makes a world of difference for sure.
Okay, Caden, I get it. I'll restart again.
Yeah, start over. When's Brick Universe? Next weekend?
The end of this month.
Okay, so yeah, you got 3 weeks. That's fine. Restart.
Y'all heard it here, guys.
I'll reschedule my flight. I'll fly down to North Carolina instead of coming home on Monday, and I'll help you out for about 6 hours.
Let's do it.
And then I'll fly back home, go to work. The texture on the workbench.
Panzer
Damn right, George.
Panzer said he's a believer.
I mean, I'm a believer too until you send me a picture of you tearing stuff apart. Like, you sent me a picture the first time, like, what do you think of this section? And I'm like, I think it looks pretty good. The next day, I get another picture. All right, tore apart half the mock. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know why we did that, but, by all means.
I've always done that, though. You can ask Gene. Every time I built a mock, halfway through it, I'll tear it apart and start all over.
Well, I mean,
especially after somebody validates it, says it looks great.
Yeah, this is the first mock that I have been associated with you for a majority of the time. Because we had just met before Brick Fair last year.
The castle was so annoying just because of how big it was, and
Yeah.
but I am not restarting this again.
Not yet.
No, not yet. It's
Yeah, because
I'm
what
ready
did you register it as for Brick Fair? Because I just got an email the other day of something that sounded like yours, but
mine's been registered since like day one.
okay, so it's a different Bastone and a different Richard.
Somebody else is doing it.
Somebody else is doing something along those lines. Let me see if
I
can
don't
pull it up.
know. Hold on. Let me pull up what I put.
Yeah, I'll pull it up too because I can see it from the back end.
But you said that you just got it.
I got a at least I think so. I got a registration email the other day. Why is this like holy shit? My screen is like zoomed into 1,000,000,000%. Okay, let's it's 200%. Let's not do that. All right. Yeah, let me see. Okay. Mocks. Because I'm pretty sure because I saw Bastone and I saw that it was like fairly sizable, and I swear the dude's name was Richard, and I was like, I don't think that's definitely not his last name. So this is another guy.
You could be shitting me.
I'm being dead serious.
All right,
Honestly, I'll see if I can pull up the email.
Taking it apart right now.
Brick Fair.
No, bingo. Lay down.
Not that one.
Panzer said, "Oh yeah, Caden, do you got some spots saved up for a few vehicles I'm bringing this year? I'll just bring a few."
A few, yeah, a few. My ass. Last year, this man, now he's in the chat. I'm gonna roast him while he's here. This man's waits until Brick Fair. For those who've never been to Brick Fair, starts on Wednesday. This man will wait until Tuesday night at like 10:30 and register like 9,000 tanks. And for the record, I get an individual email for every single one of them. So I wake up Wednesday morning and I just have a scroll wheel of emails of arm registering tanks in my inbox. And then he'll show up and be like, "So where am I at?" I'm like, "Bro, find space for all your tanks. I've had these tables laid out for weeks." Yeah. So okay, yeah, here you go. So another Richard, this dude's 27, closing the bulge, which I mean has to be related in some sense. 40 by 17 inches.
How big is that?
That's like a
1.5 by 3.5.
Yeah.
So I'm registered under my name, Richard Harding, as Bastone / Battle of the Bulge, 14 by 6, 32 stud base plates.
Yeah. No, I mean I knew it wasn't yours, but I was like at first glance I was like, wait, hold on a second. Let me.
So Richard, your castle lost to a mini castle one year, didn't it?
Yeah.
Now your Bastone's going to lose to a mini Bastone.
I know. I'm just going to take it apart now and start something else.
There you go.
Thanks a
But
lot.
yeah, actually, ironically enough, on my end, it's registered under Bearded Bricks. So
Mine or the other one?
yours. Well, obviously it would be yours.
Well, that's what I didn't understand. I was like, wait a minute.
Because it's also like so whatever name or whatever you put on your third brick is what the registrant is under. Because like all of my mocks, the name for all of my mock or the name of the registrant for all of my mocks is Hacksaw Ridge because that's what my third brick says. So like all of my vignettes say they were being built by Hacksaw Ridge, and then Hacksaw Ridge was built by Hacksaw Ridge.
Sweet.
Which is actually kind of funny. Yeah, there's only how many mocks is this? There are only 20 mocks registered
For military?
in military right now. The one bad thing about the military community for Brick Fair is that they all decide to wait until July to register their stuff. But pretty much everyone on here I know.
It's K today. Every time Caden's on now, I hear the sound of a drill in my mind.
I did that one time.
All it takes is one time.
It was peer pressure. Richard told me
That's
to
what
do
you're known for now.
for drilling holes in 16 by 16 plates.
Arm said no. I fully acknowledge it. It was my own fault. I'll own up to it. It's a little funny in retrospect, though. Sorry, Kate.
No, I mean it was definitely funny because I gave him a whole load. He texted me that night. He was like, "I just registered some vehicles." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw." And he was like, "Is there room for me?" I'm like, "Bro, we were tight on space to begin with." Now, little did I know beforehand that the space that that Eric had reserved for his build was including space for Arm's vehicles. I was not made aware of that, so I was trying to find space for all of Arm's tanks. Come to find out that the extra like 6 feet that Eric had registered for was for Arm. I was like, oh, well then we're good.
Oh, come on, Caden. It's just on a need-to-know basis. You didn't need to know. You're only setting
right.
it up.
You're right. The person, running the area didn't need to know.
Right.
Yeah. Now this year, honestly, I'm just gonna like sit in the hotel the whole time. You guys figure it out.
All right, deal.
I'm gonna come in and there's just be like tables on the floor.
You heard that, Arm. Me, you, and Eric get to control it.
Oh boy.
Well, guess who? The other Richard just lost some space because he's not just playing.
Yeah. Oh, we actually had to move you to mixed. Sorry.
Yeah, decline that guy.
Yeah.
There's no room. Sorry, buddy.
No, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try this year, kind of how Brick World does it, and I'm gonna sit down like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the show with everything that is registered as of that point, and like lay out square inch for square inch all the tables and all the mocks we have registered, and then just give everybody like everyone will have a sticky note with their name of where their stuff is, and you just come in and can find your spot, and if you have an issue.
So all you're saying is I got to beat the other guy there and pull his sticky note up.
No, because your sticky note is going to be in the pod with me and all of my guys.
That's fine. I'm talking about
trying to close the avenue.
His sticky note is going to be disappearing, and we're going to put Haley's Winnie the Pooh on the table instead.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll be there at like 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday, so
I don't get there until like 10 or 11.
Yeah, well, you can't set up until noon, so.
Yeah, but normally we this year I'll actually I lied. I'll be there sooner than that. Mm-hmm. I am more than likely gonna bring the van, drop the van off, and either one of two things. I'm Ubering to the museum or I'm Ubering to the Arlington National Cemetery.
Which museum?
The airspace. Well, they're all three like across the road from each other.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of museums.
Like a dozen. Yeah, there's like a dozen.
The air and space.
You can go to the Marine Corps Museum.
I mean, I could go to all of them.
Have you ever been to the Marine Corps Museum?
I've never been to any of them.
The Marine Corps Museum, of all of the museums I have ever been to, is hands down my favorite museum I've ever been to.
And see, it'll work out because maybe Arm and Eric will be there, and I'll just let them set up Bastogne however they want.
Arm usually doesn't show up till like Thursday, Friday.
Well, that's because he's too busy registering.
Yeah. Eric is usually pretty good about it. He's usually there pretty early on Wednesday, but he respects the 12 noon rule and doesn't just roll in. He'll usually. And then he comes in and checks with me, like, where we're at, what do you need?
No, I'll be honest with you. I never knew there was a rule of when you could be there.
It's not a rule of when you can be there. It's a rule of when you can set up. Because back in the day, the registration, you had to sign in or like check in before you could set up. And the sign or check in didn't open until noon. So like now he opens it like 11:30, something like that, and people will start kind of rolling stuff in.
My mock is set up before I ever go check in.
Oh yeah, same. Because by the time so when I get there in the morning, I'm setting up tables, tablecloths, putting out reserve stickers, like all that kind of stuff. And then by the time I'm done and like could go check in, there's a mile-long line of people trying to check in. So I just go unload my car. I'm wearing a Brick Fair shirt anyway. Nobody's going to stop me. And then get all my stuff done, and then at some point when there's like, you know, one person up there, I'll run up there, check in, and then be done with it.
So, Arm, what me, you, and Eric need to do is just have like 3 T-shirts made that just say Brick Fair on the front, and on the back it said Caden said we can do it, and then we just do whatever we want.
Can I have one too?
Trevor, Panzer said, or Arm said that we're going to be big this year. He's looking forward to this. And Trevor said, "Nah, you got to come in at least once and bring some cookies."
Come in at least once. Wait, where am I coming? Oh, to the yeah. I gotta come into Brick Fair. We're gonna be big this year. Arm, what are you talking about? Because Eric told me last year that he was never building anything that big ever again.
I didn't know that Eric and Arm were building anything this year. I thought that like the build was mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ever find out until
the week of.
Well, usually Eric's pretty good about registering stuff, but he hasn't registered anything yet, which is scary. Arm, on the other hand, I fully expect 90 emails the day before the show.
All right, this build was like a couple of crazy techniques, but
nice head.
That's a cool head.
Mayo said, "What boxes do you mean in the title?" Well, he stuffs all the boxes. To be,
I do. Honest. I will stuff your boxes.
Let's see. He likes to take things and put things in them.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like the last couple times I've been on, we've had a topic and we've talked about it for like 5 minutes, and then we go back to talking about whatever else we were talking about.
Me and George have kind of just like, as long as we got a topic, we got to fall back, but the topics never get talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, very seldom.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it. How do you prepare?
I mean, there's no one way, right? Everything is I mean, like all of my, so outside of the, like, you know, the historical accuracy, like the research stuff for my builds, the other big development part is transport. And so like all of my mocks, even like going back to my first mock in 2015, the voice crack year, last year. No, come on. All of the builds like kind of go through this sketch phase of like, okay, how am I building this to be able to transport? Like the first, the first couple of builds I did, I was driving a sedan. And so I didn't have a ton of space. When I did, what was the first one I took in the minivan? I think that was probably the landings on Okinawa. Actually, no, it was Bloody Nose Ridge. So like that build, it was always like, okay, I'm just going to break it up into each base plate as a section. And so then, I could kind of figure that out. And this is more or less the same, but like Hacksaw was built originally he has huge hands for what seems like a tiny body.
It's Mario. He's always had huge hands.
I mean, I guess, but but like Hacksaw was designed to, in theory, be able to fly and or ship. And so like this mock is 2 feet by 4.5 feet and 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet tall. And it comes apart and almost completely breaks down. And that was intentional. And so like figuring out how I wanted to go about doing that was a pretty big part of the like initial start of it.
This thing's dope, by the way.
But yeah, you said it had like actual, like the steering wheel works.
Yeah.
Nice.
It only goes like that's lock to lock.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't need probably a ton of room to torque.
No. Somebody needs to RC this bad boy. The pedals work, but I'm not really sure why. Because he doesn't reach them if they're not all the way up.
Just extend his legs. Just give him some extra. I stuffed my pad.
Arm said Eric is watching too, so we're on it.
Uh-huh.
He said you know us too well. Brick Gunner says hi. Mayo said I stuff my pick a brick boxes full of bulk to get good value.
I do that too.
And Caden, Andrew says, Caden, is there space still for Brick Fair, Virginia? I was thinking of going this year.
Yeah, there's still space. There's
not, according to what it just said on mine, it says there's not.
What are you looking at?
It says new in 2025, no more mocks of QR codes.
Yeah.
I have a QR code that sits in front of my mock.
You got to read the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah, no,
Arm said check your email.
Oh boy. I don't. You know what? I swear to God.
So am I not allowed to have a QR code in front of my mock to tell people to go to the channel?
Technically, no, I don't think so. It's a weird line.
Wait a minute. Once again, I've got the shirt that says Caden says I can.
Yeah, I think Todd trumps me though. So the rule last year was that you could not have a QR code that led to any type of
merchandise,
like purchasing something. Yeah. But that for like accounts or stuff like that was fine. So like on my like info plaques, I usually put the QR for my Instagram. But that's usually like the extent of where I'll go. Andrew, to answer your question, yes, there is still space for Brick Fair. There isn't ever really not space for Brick Fair, which sounds weird. So the way that Brick Fair is run is kind of annoying from that sense that like there's never a maximum amount of square footage that's allowed to be registered. And so they will pretty much let you register up until like the day of the show. And if there is any room for it on the floor whatsoever, they will set you up. If you are planning to go, let me know what you're planning to bring sooner rather than later. And then whether you're registered now or registered a week before the show, I can put you on that list to work you into my map. But you can also, I believe, you can register for the show. You might be able to register a mock before you pay, and then it just not show up on the page, but I might be able to see it. The website's really weird, but yeah, if you're planning to come, definitely feel free to reach out. Arm, I don't see anything in my email yet. I don't have a wall of emails. Oh, nope, there we go. There it is.
Just one?
There's only one.
Right
Where's
now?
the rest of them?
Is
I
it
need
a
89 more.
The rest is coming?
It's a Jagged Tiger Alf B 11 by 22 studs. Nice.
Yes, I did behead Mario to put him in the shelf, Trevor. I have to figure out what I'm doing with this shelf once again. Gene, did you have any you said you had something to bring to the show tonight?
We only really had one piece that was interesting this week. And it's honestly not worth playing the premiere thing. Hold on.
I love putting Gene on the spot because he's never ready.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm building because y'all are talking.
You got to send him a signal.
Man, I built the whole entire Mario Kart. What are you talking about?
I've been building in my head.
I'm about to start another one of Arm's tanks.
Nice.
Because I've only got 10
Right,
of them.
so the one that was a shocker for us this week, Tori got an order, and it was actually today. We thought it was going to be kind of a blah week on it. Got an order for this piece right here. It's a brick round 1x1 with human heart pattern, dark red. Came in 2 sets. And that part sold today for $18.53.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's
really wanted that part.
Yeah, it came in 2 sets, and they're really 2 obscure sets.
It went to a minifig store.
It went to a Bricks and minifig store.
That's why they were trying to complete a set so they could sell one used.
yeah.
Probably. But it went to the 2012 haunted house and the 2011 the mill. And if you go look at the haunted house, I mean,
Oh, I
it's
remember that.
$350 used, 344. So it's not huge. And the mill is only 91 bucks.
That's Davy
That
Jones'
whole
art.
Yeah, so that whole set's $91 and 18 bucks of it's that one piece.
Davy
That's
Jones'
okay, they
art.
can have that art. It's in the mail to them now.
But Richard was telling us they're coming out with more Pirates
I
of the
have
Caribbean.
the Black Pearl is dropping again, and I have a feeling that since it's going to be ideas, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes with it.
Like Easter egg stuff to kind of
Yeah,
Pay
and
the
I
scenes
will,
from the
I
movie.
will almost bet that is one of them.
I mean, they'll probably update the print though, right?
You would think,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is Lego.
That is true. That is true.
Speaking of that, we're gonna get Caden. Anybody want to see Caden hot and boiling?
I don't know about hot and boiling, but definitely
Andrew said he has 2 mocks to bring, and both are 2 32 by 32.
yeah, that's
Arm
fine.
said, "Do it. I'll do it slowly throughout the next few months." Caden, promise.
Torture me.
Gotta get the wave stuff ready for now. Tron said, "Good for my Aztec build," and Mayo said, "I'll be going to either Brick Fair, VA, or PA next year." Is VA where most of y'all go? VA is where everybody goes.
Yeah, VA is the big one. PA, this is the first year he's doing that one. I might go this year. It's definitely smaller than the Virginia show, but either one, I mean, will be a good time.
Tripp said that he just bought that haunted house.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's been on his wanted list for a while.
Well, if he needs to get rid of that $18 piece, let us know and we'll do it under consignment.
But are you ready to see some mocks and other things that Lego has done?
Yes, sir.
So once again, these are in an order from what I think is absolutely trash to what I think is going to sell. And I even done it with themes. So every theme is this week. The first one isn't really what I think is trash. I just have a slight problem with it. This is the exact same thing as the normal Spider-Man head. It literally is for piece, exact same thing. They did the same thing with Venom and Carnage.
It's just
Like,
different colors.
Yeah, it's cool. Do I think that it's played out? Yeah. Do I think it's going to sell? Of course, the kids are going to love it. Kids love Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Do I think it's worth the $80 to buy? No.
Yeah, 80 seems a little steep for that.
Next, I'm kind of excited about this. There's 3 in here that I just completely think that they missed the mark on. And one of them is this right here called Sun Spider. I don't know what this is going to be, but it looks like Homeboy has like a walking issue. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who this is. I've never even heard of this guy. The other one is Spider Bite, which he's supposed to be like a gigabyte, I guess, or whatever. And the third one is whatever this is. Spider-Man and a Kid. I've seen Spider-Verse, but I do not remember all these.
I have not seen Spider-Verse, so I don't know what virtually any of this is, but
The cowboy is cool as hell.
yeah, I mean, some of the like that's one of the things with CMFs. I feel like every CMF there's like 1 or 2 random parts that you want more than anything else that like just to add to your like Fig Barf collection.
Well, the Spider Baby head's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Spider Horse is pretty funny. The Wolf, this right here, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The Rocker is really cool. Spider Punk.
Cowboy number.
Spider Gwen, we've got a ton of her. The Cyborg has some pretty cool pieces. I love that head.
Yeah. I do like that they're kind of following with like the D&D thing and giving you like the helmet or the mask for all of them, so you kind of have the both sides of the character, I guess.
And I like that we're getting a spider cat. So we're getting a spider horse, a werewolf, a cat, and a baby all in this one. But no, I did not really watch the movie like that. It's K Today said, let's stir the pot. Mayo said, PA is replacing Philly Brickfest. VA is where you go if Brickworld Chicago is inconvenient for you. PA is like in Philly, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Philly Brickfest also sucked and has sucked for 10 years. So
Trip said, Gene's just over here bragging like I got a bunch of $18 pieces. And Trevor said that the Carnage is twice as expensive as the Venom. It is. Next is this. I thought.
No, Trip was saying he's got a bunch of $18 pieces.
Yeah. Well, Gene will buy them off of me from 1950. I thought Sonic was failing. But this is an 18 plus promo. I don't know. I'm gonna hold off all other further judgment till I actually know what this is. Watch it be like an art piece of this. It'll be a mosaic that you have to build this.
This is like just like an informational like poster of that this is a thing.
It has a set number. It's going to be a gift with purchase. It's an 18 plus promo, and it's going to be Sonic.
Interesting. Are they releasing any more Sonic sets?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was failing.
Yeah.
The Nike Dunk everybody has seen with the logo and basketball. They're coming out with 2 more Nike sets that haven't been shown yet. And these are one of the shoes they were dropping. I don't like these at all, but I found out that these are supposed to be only for kids.
I mean, that would make sense.
I love Nike Dunks, and these are Air Max, like the newer Air Maxes, not something for me. But they're coming out with adult Nike Dunks. I am going to try my hardest to get a pair of these. I don't know what really makes them Lego other than the fact that the
Lego logo. Yeah.
Because these aren't like studs that stick up. They're holes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But there's just kids in the photos. So once again, I'm not sure how it's going to work.
Yeah.
This. Have you seen this?
I did see this picture yesterday. Yeah.
I think this failed on what everyone wanted.
Yeah, like it's definitely like it has like the cute animated factor to it, but the proportions seem off.
And it feels like another Stitch build.
Yeah.
This one's cuter than Stitch.
Tori said it's cuter than Stitch.
It's definitely got that animated, like cute look to it, like Caden said, but it's not for me.
Like I might pick it up anyway, but like even just looking at the box art, like the head to leg ratio seems
the leg is this.
very, very off.
This. I'm excited about this.
Is Soundwave a Transformer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It could give it away with the big Transformer logo up
Well,
here.
I mean, or the picture of the Transformer. I kind of figured as much. So I just wanted to make sure.
I love this, though. I'm really hoping this comes out to be something pretty cool that's transformable, just like the Punch Bug with Bumblebee and then the tractor trailer with Optimus Prime.
It's got a Lego sound brick. That might be kind of sick.
Well, he turns into a stereo.
Yeah. So in theory, he should play some jams.
I don't know when Lego is going to get to the Bluetooth speaker included into Lego.
I saw completely side tangent. I found a Bluetooth speaker yesterday that was a Claymore, like landmine.
Oh, yeah. I haven't sent you that.
I don't know. I want to get one so bad. It's probably the biggest knockoff ad on Instagram I've seen, but if it's real, I want one so bad.
Me and George I thought I sent you that. Me and George were talking about it, but what I explained to him is like, that's a no-name brand. And like, even though like anybody can do a sound bar now or whatever, it's not something crazy. I bet the sound quality in that thing sucks.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it's terrible, but just to be able to say, like, be like, oh, let me grab my speaker, and you pull out a landmine, like, that's, yeah. Especially on the beach, like, you just plant it.
Think about it. At Brick Fair, it could be sitting beside your mock, and you can hear the waves crashing against the ocean.
Exactly. Or you just, like, play, like, death and destruction war soundboards through it.
Next up is this. I actually really like this, and I will more than likely be picking it up. The character is a little bit of the same. There's not much that's changed. The main thing on the dog that changed, or the only thing on the dog that's changed, is the collar is not blue. I mean, not red like the CMF. It's blue. But I actually really enjoy this, and I'll buy it. Like, sold.
Yeah.
For anybody into One Piece, we got a little bit more information. Anybody that's ever seen the show, there is wanted posters with the pirates on it. Well, they kind of did this like Harry Potter did with the wizard cards. It says the sets will contain random wanted tiles. There's 8 to collect. One of the sets will come with one. The other sets come with multiples. The big set comes with 5. They're going to be 2x2 tiles, just like the Harry Potter wizard cards. With those, these are the 3 of the figures that got leaked. The 2 right here are going to be from the Windmill Village, and then the Arlong is going to come with the battle at the Arlong Park. I don't know how many people in here watch One Piece, but I'm actually pretty excited about this.
I've never seen an episode, so I don't even know what that is.
It's an
Watch the live
Well,
version.
I know what One Piece is. I've just never seen it enough to know like what any of that means.
So, Caden, watch the live version before you watch the cartoons.
Aren't there like
Because-
15,000 episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of the animated, yeah. But you can
Okay.
see it all in, I think it's 2 seasons of the live.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is better to me.
Well, this is built all off the Netflix series. It's not built off the anime.
Interesting.
We are getting 2 brick heads to do with One Piece, one of Luffy and one with Buggy the Clown. And then this is the
Oh, wait, go back.
It's all shows.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
This is the leak of the ship.
I want that.
I kind of like that.
That sail that's printed is pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean the build on the front looks pretty nice too.
It's a goat. But I mean, I really like this. I can't wait to get it. It shows what Luffy's going to look like. I hope they do something to show like his legs or feet or something being stretched. But I really like this. I can't wait for it. I'll buy every one in this series. Next up, we got into Star Wars. So we're getting another AT-ST Walker. This one's the UCS one. We've never got a UCS before. It's only $200, which I can see because the legs are going to be kind of weak built on these. They're not very, crazy thick or anything. It says that the head and gun are all posable, has an interior with 2 seats, and includes a printed plaque. It also includes the AT-ST pilot minifigure. I don't know. I haven't bought a UCS set in a while. I didn't even buy the Django Slave. But I know you can't see it up here. I literally have like every version of the AT-ST they came out with. I will probably pick this up.
Yeah, I didn't even see this one. I didn't even know this was on the list. I'll probably wait and see what it looks like.
Well, I'm assuming this is the August 1st UCS, and then we'll get the big Death Star in October.
Well, but normally the like summer/fall UCS falls into like September. Because it's usually like we get one in the spring and then one in the fall. There isn't usually like a medium one, because I feel like last year it was the Interceptor, the year before was the X-Wing, the year before that was the Slave One, and then we had the fall ones.
Yeah.
So getting an extra one, and like this one's, I mean, on par, 1,500 pieces. That I have the X-Wing and the Interceptor sitting right here, still in the box. But I mean, if this one looks good, I'll probably pick it up.
I assume a lot of the guns and everything on the side is going to be built just like the AT-AT, which I'm hoping this is like size correct with the AT-AT. That'd be kind of cool. But it being a UCS set, I imagine it's going to be bigger.
It would have to be bigger. I think in order for it, like if it was scaled with the UCS AT-AT, it would
It'd
not
be like a $50 set.
Yeah, it would not be would not be a UCS set on that vein.
So Richard, would you recommend that as a good starter Star Wars set for people that haven't built them before?
The ATST?
The ATST?
I'm joking. Would that be good for my very first Lego Star Wars?
No, I have if you want a first Lego Star Wars, the set that you need to buy is in here, but it's not this. Next up, we have the Separatist MTT. Apparently we're getting the droid back that they quit printing. Now we're getting it again. Once again, Lego just does the random shit of we're going to quit producing this, and then all of a sudden, bam, produce it again. But it does come with Commander Bly. It says it comes with a new Pauldron, and then Sakura, a B1 battle droids, and commando droids. Is this thing supposed to be full of droids? Do you know?
I don't think it's going to end up being full of droids. I
think
believe the
I've seen
picture that I saw was like 6 B1.
7. Yeah, it was like 7, including this one.
So the picture I saw was 2 commando droids and 6 B1 droids.
So the one I seen had 1 droid, 1 commando, and the rest were just B1s.
Okay, so I mean it'll depend. I do like that they're doing a Clone Wars era color scheme though, with the gray and the blue, because all the other MTTs we've had to this point have been the reddish brown from episode 1.
Yeah.
The Ayla Sakura figure, there are pictures floating around online you can find of the leaks for these. The Ayla Sakura figure looks pretty good. I will say, and I'm sure you have the other set that I'm thinking of in here as well. The Commander Bly figure in this set looks better than the troopers in the battle pack. In my opinion, I don't know how I feel about the new Pauldron.
I didn't bring any of the pictures of like the actual leaked images because they look so bad.
Yeah, no, and that's perfectly fair.
I want to wait till they come out with some more clear photos.
There's some pretty clear close-up ones I can send you later of some of them, of like certain minifig parts and stuff. But the plastic Pauldron, I'll probably have to just get them and see how I like it.
It's not fabric, is it?
No, it's plastic, like molded plastic, like the old Clone Wars ones. Because they're doing like it's the over the neck Pauldron piece, and then the rest of it is printed on the top of the torso. So you have that like white line across the top of the torso, which is gonna be kind of annoying. And then like supposedly they're still just printing the waist capes. We're not getting the cloth waist capes back, which I think is going to make those figures look a lot worse, but that's just me. I'll probably pick it up anyway, though.
Next up, this is what you should get, Gene. The Republic Juggernaut. It's pretty much a turbo tank in a way.
I mean, it is a turbo tank.
Yeah, but it's called Juggernaut because of the paint color, right?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why they're calling it a Juggernaut, because the pictures I saw, it's still light gray and dark red, which is still turbo tank. The turbo tank is a Juggernaut class of vehicle, so tis what it is. But I saw the pre-overmold helmet mold for the Galactic Marines. It doesn't look terrible, but I'm waiting to see what the rest of the print looks like. It does look like they're actually printing red onto red, dark red torsos, instead of the Commander Fox debacle of printing it onto white.
Yeah, I've never understood that. You have the ability to make anything you want in any color you want, and still you choose to
print it on white and make it pink.
Yeah.
The Commander Bakara, all of the renders or images that I'm seeing, the helmet looks weird, almost like that the kind of extra piece of his helmet almost looks like photoshopped on. So I'm curious to see what that helmet's going to look like, because if it is just the straight up clone helmet, that honestly, that might be enough for me to not get this set.
Are you not gonna get it, or are you just gonna get it anyway?
I mean, as of right now, I'm definitely gonna get it. I think if they don't do a new mold for his helmet, and the prints on the rest of the figures are bad, because that's really the only reason I'm buying it will be the figures. If the figures aren't what I want them to be, I probably won't end up getting it.
I mean, I don't think either one of them are going to be too bad with the pictures I've seen, but
Yeah, I don't either. I have high hopes.
I think all of us have kind of got to where what we expect Lego to do with Star Wars is not going to happen.
It's weird. It's weird because like I feel like with this summer wave, they are doing, like it took us so many years to get us or to get them to do like 501st, like episode 3 style clones.
Yeah.
And then so like that was the big thing. Then they did the 332nd, and that that was in like what 3 sets.
That was pretty much just a battle pack though.
It was the battle pack, and then you had the one in the AAT.
Yeah, but it was one
with the Ahsoka. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So like that was a limited thing. Then we had the shock troopers in the gunship. We had the 212th and the ATTE with Commander Cody. We got 5s, we got Rex. So it's like they were slowly doing all the stuff that like people were asking for, but then now we're getting 327th, Commander Bakara, and Galactic Marines like all in the same wave. Like
so
they're trying to do.
I kind of have a theory about that though.
Okay.
So here's my theory, and it might seem very far-fetched because it's thought out. Yeah. But I said this once before with the 501st, and I'm going to use it. Basically, when I started noticing this was with the UCS AT-AT. So they drop a UCS AT-AT. They tell you, oh, it can hold 40 minifigures, but in order to do these 40 minifigures, you got to buy the 10 battle packs.
Sure.
So it's like the old comic days. In order to get the full story, you have to buy multiple issues. Yeah. So now they've realized that all these mock builders are getting huge. There's a lot of people that are even the secondary market. Everybody's buying sets and selling the minifigures out of them for almost what the set cost.
Yeah.
So they have taken the ability to, and Gene will be a good call on this one because it's Bricklink. They've taken the ability to take a minifig like a 501st, for instance. If you want to build a mock with 501st, are you going to use 3 or are you going to try to use like 10? So if you want 10, you technically have to buy, 4 battle packs?
Right. And then you go even further. Are you using Lego ones? Are you using custom ones? Yeah.
So, like the Bricklink store...
But I think Lego's position is they assume you're always using theirs.
Sure. Well, they don't. I mean, you got to think there's a ton of people that don't realize this third party market exists.
Yeah.
I mean, they just don't. There's been so many people, and I know that Caden has to get it asked. Like, I'll go to a show, and they're like, where in the world did you get a World War II Marine?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you Google.
Yep. Yeah, it's always like the weapons. That's usually the big one. It's like, where'd you get the weapons?
But so they have the ability to do what they need to do to make people buy an army.
Sure.
And I think that's where that's coming in. Over the years, I remember back when I was at Lego, big when I was younger, it was really cool to have a droid army. But the droid army didn't matter, and like if you had 5 or 10, that's all you wanted, and you could literally get 5 droids. You could get 10 droids by buying 2 sets.
Right.
And now with the 501st, we've gotten to where we're so gluttonous that we have to have. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I have 500 clones over there.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I don't have that many, but I have quite an army under my Venator right now.
And that's where I think sets like this are coming in, because the thing that's in this is, okay, you got one commander, that's all you need.
Sure.
He exists, he's there, you got him. But those Galactic Marines, how many are you going to want?
Yeah.
Well, somebody's going to buy 10 of these, take them apart, put them all on Bricklink for pieces. The set costs $160. They're going to put a $10 price tag on each one of these Marines. So every time they sell 3 Marines, that's $30. Now
Yeah.
the set's only cost them $130, and they still have 813 pieces to sell.
Yep.
So that's what I'm thinking. And then that whole thing that we're talking about translates also. I want to go back. Tron Brick says, yeah, start of this year. Star Trek was supposed to be later this year. Now it's next year. Cascadia Brick says there's a rumor that the big Death Star set might be the new Master Builder series set and not a UCS, which makes sense because the MBS set just retired, which was the Cantina, which is very true.
Possible, yeah.
And Tron's Brick says it's always was a Juggernaut. It was relabeled the Turbo Tank. Now they're calling it the Juggernaut again.
Yeah.
But the next set is the Jango Fett. Now we're getting another Jango Fett starship, like the UCS one. Comes with just about everything that the other one does. Honestly, it's just smaller.
Yeah, it's just a play set.
But this right here, we're getting another snow speeder. This goes back to we're getting a lot of sets that are going to be as we get new pieces. Lego's going to redo every one of these sets. I don't care what anybody says. There's easier ways to make curves now. If you look at the original snow speeder to the one we got like 2 years ago, the one 2 years ago looks much better.
So did you see the picture of this one though?
Well, this isn't the like Hoth snow speeder.
Yeah, but did you see the leaked picture of this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's like for me, this one it follows the same like Dark Falcon vibe of like just some out of the box weird.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where they got it from because it's not the. Well, this is rebuild the galaxy.
Yeah.
So it is going to be the Dark Falcon thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to guess that since we have the pieces now to create the curves in this versus the other one, we're going to get another Snow Speeder from Hoth soon.
Potentially. Well, going back to the Slave One, so outside of the fact that the young Boba is just as bad because it's the same figure that's in the UCS one.
Yeah.
I will probably pick that up solely for the fact that the Lama Su minifigure leak looks amazing.
So the Django in them reusing the figs is whatever for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of shitty because it goes back to the whole Captain Rex. You know, you could buy a Venator for $750, or you could buy a $15 micro fighter to get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel.
I mean, they didn't outright say that the figures in the Jango Fett Slave UCS were exclusive. That being like the big difference, I think. Because with the Venator, that was why everyone was so mad.
Well, yeah, but everyone had expected them to be.
Well, right. But, you know, if without like an explicit like, oh yeah, by the way, you know, we're gonna remake these figures in 6 months. You know.
But I want to get onto some mocks. So I sent this mock to George, and George sent me another mock by this guy and was like, you need to show this too. He's actually been on the show before. Go check him out on Instagram if nobody has. But he did a build with Life on Mars parts. The first thing that drew me the fact is sand purple is being used, and sand purple is something that we haven't gotten a set in I don't know how long. I like this though. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's super clean.
Even the sand red is being used, which is another color that you'll never see anymore.
Yeah. He just picked all the most like old expensive colors.
Well, it was all used on Life on Mars.
Yeah.
So it's. I've never really been a fan of the aliens. To me, they're just droids.
Droids with goofy heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The build of the robot looks really cool. It's simple. It's not something that's too crazy and out of the box and like detail. It looks like it's something that would be very, very reasonably built.
Yeah.
And I thought at first when I was showing it to George that they used like the mech legs from Marvel where they're all one piece. But these are actually built on the joints, so they all move. They all show in like different, I guess, articulation. You could do a lot with it. I don't know how much it'll actually hold up because of the.
So he's
the
got
fact
all
that
the sands: sand green, sand blue, sand purple, sand red.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll hold up its weight, but I
Old
thought
gray.
this was a pretty cool mock.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that he's using like those big, like kind of clunky panel pieces for like the windows and stuff along the background too.
Yeah. Tron says, I'm kind of interested in that new snow speeder just because it's so different. And then he said, sand blue, sand purple, sand red, has half expecting some sand green. Wait, there's sand green. Yeah, the sand green is in here. But like I said, it's something that it's pretty simple and it looks really cool. I think this is what Lego should go for when it comes to mechs, not Iron Man mech, because Iron Man technically is a mech.
Darth Maul mech.
Yeah. This is what George wanted me to bring to the table.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I really like the aliens. I don't know much about 40K at all.
Yeah. I don't either. One of my friends actually just bought me Space Marine 2, so I would play it.
Uh-huh.
And we played through like the first mission or two. Like this is like instantly recognizable. I do like how he did kind of the mech suits.
I love just like with a head on a body.
Yeah.
I love how they did the saw.
Yeah, the vibra swords or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not built into a square, so a lot of people are going to like it.
Yep. Especially Lando.
Tron said, I'm not a big 40 fan, but those look fairly good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I like the machine gun clip.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very well done for sure.
These pearl gold pieces let us do a lot.
Might have to get you to send me that one so I can send it to my buddy.
All right.
Yeah, I like these using the round like snot bricks for the articulation on the aliens. On that last picture. Where he's got yeah.
So I actually feel really bad to myself about this. So I bought 500 of these off of Lego's website.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to pick a brick wall this weekend, and they were on there.
Mine had them. I have a whole box of them. Mine also had the quarter round tiles in light bluish gray.
Mine did not have that.
No. Well, this was also like a month ago now, but
I did just buy the Lego order that I have that will be ordered. I'm gonna wait to the one that has the plates in it, the 1x1 plates.
yeah.
The brick order in there is 1x1 plates. I've got 500 1x1 quarter rounds, and then another 200 of the leaf pieces that just got released.
Okay. Yeah, I just restocked my quarter tiles in dark tan by about 1,000.
They're
hopefully that'll last till I'm done Hexall.
They're really useful.
Yeah. Which new leaf piece are you talking about?
The little 3 leaf that's like the one stud on it.
Oh,
One
yeah.
stud.
Not new, but yeah.
No. Well, the new color, it just came out in like the transparent black.
Okay, yeah, in the Wednesday set.
Yeah, they came out with that in the silver metallic. I bought 300 of each the first order. I don't know what I'm going to use it for.
Is the trans black on Lego.com?
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Okay, I want to get some of those. I was looking for them on Fight Club, and they weren't on the list this year. So
no, nothing was.
Yeah,
like they released all the new pieces like 2 months after.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to give a shout out. Like I really like these guys.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool. Next up we have Doug Dimagadone once again. George kind of explained what this stuff was last week. Here's another pic of his. I think George, I don't know what he called it, but it's basically this is what lifts rotors up and puts them on top of helicopters.
Interesting.
Another semi truck. I think this one looks better than the last. I really like this design. And then I don't know what these vehicles are. That to me almost looks like something that's like, yeah, George said it's a Tilly Dick crane. Well, what is this, George? Because this to me looks kind of like, it looks like somebody took a World War II base of a tank and stuck a World War I turret on it.
Almost looks like a Russian like APC chassis with a like naval gun on top of it.
Yeah.
Just a massive SPG.
But I don't know. It looks cool. I just don't know
Yeah.
anything about it. I love the horns in the front for the hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And then his other one is a tanker. Once again, I love this.
It's pretty clean.
This is what George needs to step up and build. He said something French or South African is his guess.
It doesn't look like a French camo scheme. That definitely felt Russian.
Yeah,
But-
that's dark colors.
Yeah.
Next up, Ringhall is how I'm assuming you pronounce that. I showed this to George. This to me is something that took a lot of piece creativity. I'm really big into like ships that like old school pirate ships. And this is beautiful.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in a little bit.
Like I tried to like look at this a little bit to figure out what everything was.
Yeah.
I know this is supposed to be like a little city in microscale with a little microscale island. I don't know why the water is red up here.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the ship looks amazing.
I mean, the brick made or the brick built sails look fantastic too.
Yeah.
Just like all the slopes and rounded pieces for like the billows.
I love the mosaic on the curve.
Yeah.
I mean, it's holding up the weight of this too, which is really cool.
I mean, the way it appears to be built, because you can kind of see like the back of the far side, that he probably has like that center is probably pretty.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
got a
powerful.
frame in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
But I love this.
Yeah, I mean the back of that ship, like that curvature on the windows.
Well, I looked at this. It's a rigid hose.
Yeah, with the clips on it.
Yeah. But like this right here,
Yeah.
I love all that. I mean, I know that this was on the Lego, what does it call, like brick builds or whatever. I really, really wish they would do something with this.
Yeah.
George said he doesn't know about the camo scheme. He builds ships and helicopters.
I mean,
Like,
helicopters come in camo
That's
sometimes.
what I was about to say. Like helicopters don't have camo schemes.
Yeah. I mean, ships maybe not, but
No,
Helicopters.
ships do too, though.
well, some not as frequently as anything else.
No.
How they did that.
Next up, this is from Ruddle Creations. This is my favorite thing. This is from Andrew in the chat. But this is one of my favorite things that has been sent in, especially lately. Check this build out, Caden.
Damn.
Wow, look at the scale of that.
Yeah,
It's huge.
I really like how he threw in the headless horseman.
Yeah.
Put the pumpkin in.
Yeah, that looks great. Is there a historical context? You know what battle this is?
I don't. It's a collab. I can
Okay.
tell you. I know he sent it to me, but I did not memorize it.
Yeah, no, that looks awesome. I like that he has like a handwritten like quote coming out of the writer's mouth there.
It says it's the anniversary of the Lexington and Concord.
Okay, that's what I assumed it was, but yeah, no, I mean that's beautiful. I love all the different colors of the foliage too.
Yeah, I mean they've literally used every color possible.
I mean, yeah, all the oranges, all the yellows.
All the greens. I like how they're out here picking apples as like people are just marching in.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you go back to the Civil War. You have people like setting up picnics to watch people shoot each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, entertainment's entertainment.
Different times.
They didn't have Netflix back then, so
That is true.
George said, all right, guys, wait till I get back next week. Arm said it's such unique foliage technique. Cascadia said looks like the one tank is a German self-prepared artillery called an RCH 155 remote controlled howitzer.
All right, I was close.
French, German, Russian, whatever. George immediately said Battle of Concord. Ryan said, what is happening tonight? Eric said, agreed, really nice foliage. And Andrew said it's Lexington and Concord.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody say good night to Tori. She's got to go downstairs and get to work.
Good night, Tori.
She's got
Everybody
to
say
eat
good night
quarter.
to George. George is getting old and has to go to bed.
I mean, I'm young and I gotta go to bed at some point, but
You gotta fly out, don't you?
well, I gotta fly tomorrow night, but I gotta work at 4 a.m. tomorrow first, and then I get to fly out.
But I really like this.
Yeah.
This to me, he sent the declaration. He's done a church also. This to me is better than both of those.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Will said, I really need to practice on tree building. Tron says, have a great day or night all. Papa Trip said, good night, Tori. And George said, night, Tori. And ha, 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 I'm still kicking over here. Next up, since George is still in the chat, George's plank owner builds got done. And they are on the website. So if you want to support George, not just the channel, go. It does not do anything for the channel. It is 100% with George. Go to Brickmania's website. He's got not only this one, but this one. You can get one, get both, get all three. I will be buying all three. You get an extra minifig when you buy all three. And I tried to get as much information from George as possible, so I knew what it sounded like I was talking about. If you get this, you basically get to put your name or two different quotes, whatever you want, on a tile. The 1x2 is with this one. The 1x4 is with this one. And this one comes with the 1x6. And I believe if you get this, it goes to a 1x8. I'm 100%, like I said, buying all three. I'll ask y'all to at least get one to help him out. I wish that I had done something like this to the bulge, but all these builds that we do get extremely expensive, extremely fast.
So here's the question. It may take George to answer it. Is it inappropriate to ask what the cost is for them?
No, all three of them together. So one's 125, one is 175, and the other one is 200, I believe. If you buy them all separately, they come to 400. If you buy them all together with the bigger plank and the extra minifig, it's 425. I do know that. So like I said, all the prices are there. They're all on Brickmania.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's Brickmania, that's not terrible.
No. And even if you don't like Brickmania, these are to support George.
Yeah.
He needs to get that ship done. He's taking forever.
That is true. He is taking forever. I'm going to tell him that when I take a picture of it this weekend. Just be like, wow, he's taking forever.
You should try building some rocks on a wall. It would have been easier to do.
Yeah,
Caden's almost done.
True. I mean, I've had the rocks on the wall done for a while.
I know. But if you have any questions, talk to George. Message him. He'll tell you what to do. Because I had to ask him a couple questions today. But overall, I think they look really good. I don't know what each gun does other than this one is the BMF. Don't know what this – I'm assuming this is like rocket pods.
Yeah.
And then this is just the machine gun.
Anti-air machine gun. Looks like
Yeah,
it's got
that's the shoulder pads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what it looks like, but it also has the radar like camera thing on it. Yeah. Interesting.
And if you do, make sure you put something really funny on the message that goes on the ship.
Yeah.
I've already got mine picked out.
I know I'm getting my bonus points if I end up getting one.
Yeah, we're all doing it.
Yeah.
If you need help with what to put on the plank, just message me. I promise it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Because when this thing gets done, if you go out there and look at the planks, even if there's only like 5 of us that do it, it'll be worth it.
We'll find them. We will spend hours sitting there and we will find them.
We'll find them. But that is what I brought to the table. Next week, because it is getting to that time, we got to let Caden go to bed. He will actually shrivel up and turn into a prune here in a little while. Next week, George will be back. If everything works out, we will have Caden back. That way we can ask him on a whole episode of what he thinks about World War Brick and the Goonies. I will tell you that Cajun Afal said that he didn't like it. And
What, the Goonies?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Well, that was the whole thing. Was that you were like, it's the best movie ever, and then somebody in chat was like, it was all right.
I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. I'm just saying it's an extremely good movie.
Sure. Well, you also think Top Gun is overrated, so your opinion on movies to this point is null and void. But it's fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, because Tom Hanks flying a jet is really, really cool.
Definitely not Tom Hanks.
Or Tom Cruise. Top Gun is just another Mission Impossible.
Fly, Forrest, fly.
Exactly.
I will, under some specific parameters, I'll give you that one.
I get it. You know I'm right.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, you're right, because in Mission Impossible, he's doing cooler stuff.
in most of them, yeah.
He said Tom Hanks in a jet would be awesome.
I mean, we kind of got that in Sully.
Andrew said that I didn't include the watermill, which was towards the bottom of the mock, but that's all. The only pictures I have is what you sent, unless you sent more than one email. Yeah, I only got the 4 pictures.
I mean, either way, it looked good.
Yeah.
Fly, Forrest.
Yeah, Days of Thunder and Top Gun are the same movie. Prove me wrong. Except for Days of Thunder was actually pretty good.
Richard's right. Respect your elders and do not drill through Lego. Yeah, fair enough.
But like I said, we will all be back next week. We got to let Caden go to bed. Everybody take it easy. See y'all next week. Peace.
Yeah. Clicks and clacks, building blocks, let's begin. Stacks on stacks, with beards we always win. In a world of plastic, our minds spin. Brick by brick, where do we dive in? Brickin with the beard, we never stop. Talking pieces, colors going over the top.